Information Technology at University of Technology and Applied Sciences, Musanna. And I would like to introduce our speaker for today, Mr. Muhammad Yasin is the Director of E-Learning at Majan University College, who has more than 14 years of experience in educational technology, instructional design, and the 21st century classroom concept. Today, he plans to highlight the essential elements and best practices needed to have a flexible, engaging, and supportive remote learning environment during the current pandemic. I request you to accommodate any delays or network issues caused by high usage, as we will be providing the link to recorded session soon. Any questions can be entertained at the end. Now I request Mr. Mohammad Yasin to proceed further. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lennon. I appreciate your invitation and I appreciate everyone who have attended to today's webinar. Thank you very much, everyone. And I hope this will be a fruitful and useful session for you. It will just definitely you're expert in your fields, and that will just add a little bit of maybe from my expertise to yours on how you can successfully build an online learning experience that could be sustainable and robust and flexible for your students. And what are the necessary elements that you should include in your online course in order to make it more engaging and more interesting for your student. Some of the concepts you're going to see today could apply for any type of teaching, online learning, whether even traditional learning. Of course, we're going to focus more about the online tools and properties. So again, thank you very much for attending. I'll be sharing my presentation in just a second. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Can you hear my voice clearly and you can see my screen? Hello. Hello. Can you see my screen, please? Yes, perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you. Please, if my voice become unclear or not loud enough, please let me know so I can repeat that section or can talk about it. I would prefer, if you don't mind, if you can ask me by voice. So sometimes, because I'm concentrating on the presentation itself, so sometimes I might not see your messages, but I'll try my best. Whenever there's a notification, I'll have a look at the notification section. So, okay, sorry about that. Okay, no problem. I'll try to have a look to the notification section as often as possible. So let's start. So I will not introduce myself further because already Dr. Lennon did that. But in short, my name is Mohammad Yasin, Mohammad Yasin. I'm the Director of E-Learning at Majan University College, and I have 14 years of experience in the e-learning field, staff development, Moodle, and instructional design. Okay, in this session, we're going to focus and we're going to divide our webinar into several sections. When we we merge all these sections together, we can have a successful and flexible online learning environment. All these different kind of principles or standards are essential to have a kind of learning that could extend your learning experience or the student learning experience outside the physical boundaries of your institution. So we will cover the motivation, how you can motivate people or students in general to take your course. I'm talking in general, whether it was a college course, like a private course, self-study course. Motivation is important. Whatever we do in life, it's fueled by motivation. What are the learning objectives, especially for online learning objectives? Objectives should be clear. So again, all the assessment, all the tools we're going to use and you're going to use to design your course are like waived and developed based on the objectives. The platforms, what are the characteristics of the platform we need to use in order to provide a successful online learning experience. The structure, a successful instructional design course, how it will look, what are the sections there, what the type of guidance we can provide to the student, how we can explain to the student what are the different types of activities, resources, and what is required from them, and what the kind of support we can provide to the student, especially the online students, because definitely they require more support and more attention than the regular student, which we can see them face to face. Now, how we can get the learners' feedback, because any system, any program required a feedback from the users in order for us to measure the performance, measure the outcome, and in order to plan future development. How we can analyze and develop the systems. So all these kind of things are essentials in order to have a robust online learning system, okay? Now let's talk first about motivation in short. So basically, you need to answer the big questions. Why people should attend your class? Why you are attending this webinar? Why you are attending any other webinar? Why you are doing anything in life? There should be a motivation, some drive making you take certain actions. So why learners should attend your class? Don't forget, learners will spend time, will spend effort, will spend money to take that course. So you need to make it very clear in many places what they gain instead, what they will have instead of attending your classes. Now, motivation in this phase could be general. You don't have to go in technical terms or technical details. It could be simply something like you will be able to actively participate in the financial decision-making process. So something to motivate people to participate. You will be able to develop project plans. You don't need to go to the details. That motivation is essential for traditional learning and online learning as well, okay? Now, motivation, I mean, where you could have your motivation. So in online learning, it could be in the official page of that course, it could be in the official website. You can have it in e-newsletters. So once you have that motivation established, all the steps will be based on that motivation. Now, how you can use the right motivation, okay? Always try to use catchy and trending titles, taglines, phrases. Try to use modern words. Don't like always tend to go to the very academic phrases. I'm talking about the motivation phase, the course summary, how you can attract people to your course, how you can make them continuously engaging with your course, even if they are studying online, studying abroad, okay? So don't use complex phrases and terminology, at least at the beginning of the course, at least in the motivation phase. Try to use some thought-provoking questions and discussion forums. We're going to come to the discussion forum phase in a few minutes. But basically, maybe, do you want to be a successful businessman? Do you want to build the new, app? Do you know to build the new Instagram app? This kind of question will motivate people to attend a course that provide the information on how to achieve that specific goal, okay? Now, every online course should have a section that talks about objectives. I mean, all of you are academics and definitely aware of the learning objectives. Learning objective is a bit different from the motivation. They are more specific, that it will talk about specific set of skills, knowledge, specific task that will be done by the learners once they finish your course. Just remember that all the online activities you're going to have on your courses, the assessment, the type of activities you will have, will be wrapped around the kind of objective that you want to achieve, okay? So objectives, as I mentioned, are more specific. Objectives should clearly specify what the learners will be able to do after completing your course, okay? Just think about the objectives are the actual fuel that will help you and help the learners to measure their progress, to measure their advancement, okay? Are they really achieving, understanding the module? That all measure based or compared to the learning objectives. Of course, when you're designing any online course, objectives should be on the top, should be in the prominent place on the top, so the student can easily refer to these objectives and compare their current understanding, current development with what is required from them. Now, for the objectives also, like I'm just giving examples for some of the objectives, more specific objectives. We can basically tell your student or your learners at the end of this course, the learners will be able to successfully write a yearly budget for the department. Or at the end of this course, the learners will be able to perform X or Y mathematical equations, or they will be able to write a script to perform certain tasks. So you're specifying the task. or learners will be able to successfully play Mozart Symphony number 41. So when the learning objectives are clear for you and are clear for your student, you can start creating online activities, some like interaction, collaboration, online assessment that fulfill these objectives. Now, the next stage or the next phase is the platform. What the kind of the platform you want to use, how you can deliver the material, deliver the content for your student, okay? How you can make the resources and learning materials available for your student from anywhere, from any time. This is the rule of the platform. So a good platform should enable facilitating learning and teaching beyond the classroom. A good platform should provide means to add activities, resources, and assessment tools, different assessment tools. Now, there are certain characteristics or features should be available in any learning platform you want to use for your online teaching. It should be always continuously updated to cope with the new changes and development that's happening in the field, with the new, like maybe as would happen right now with the COVID-19 breakout. So people are studying from home, sometimes studying abroad. So all the platform or the environment should always be supported and adapted. Should be globally adapted, used by many institutions. So now, as far as I know, you are using Moodle. We are using Moodle. So we can easily have a common ground. When I explain something, you can easily understand what I'm talking about. You can easily find support online. You can easily manage that because you need to focus on creating your course content. You don't need to spend a lot of time to figure out how you can do or how you can achieve certain things. Also should be flexibly managed or configured. And the most important things should be responsibly displayed, because now people, especially even before the age of COVID, but now is more importantly, they are using and they are accessing your online materials from anywhere. They use a mobile phone, they use tablet, even the mobile phone or tablet, they're coming in different sizes and shapes. So you need to design, you need to have a platform that supports responsiveness, that your content could be displayed on any screen from anywhere. Now, I'm just taking a brief example, which is Moodle, and I think you're already familiar with Moodle, so I'll not talk a lot about it, but Moodle is the popular and #1 open source learning management system that can provide you with tools and means to provide a flexible and robust learning environment. Now, Moodle provide you, as I mentioned, learning tools and provide a lot of tools which support synchronous and asynchronous learning activities. As you all of you know, like asynchronous learning is a key feature for successful online learning experience, because basically students will be able to access learning materials at any time at their convenience. Maybe they are studying, working abroad, outside the country. They don't have an active internet connection while the class is taking place. So asynchronous activities or learning activities will provide the means for them to attend the learning materials at any time. Now, again, asynchronous learning activities provide the opportunity for learners to attend and revisit and refer back to the course materials, as I just explained. Now, some examples of the asynchronous learning activities that you can include and incorporate in your online courses could be discussion forums. So discussion forums play a great role on providing knowledge base to the student. I'll come to that in a few seconds. You can provide the recorded videos of your online classes, articles, ebooks, wikis, podcasts, and quizzes, all these different types of asynchronous learning activities. Now, again, as I mentioned before, the asynchronous learning activities are essential for expanding the learning experience outside the physical boundaries of your institution. Now, so because of that, you should include a variety of these tools inside your module. Now, as example, for the discussion forum, it could provide a rich resource for questions and answers, like frequently asked questions, ice-breaking activities, like feedback from the student. All that could form a great database for the current student and for any upcoming student, because you can keep that forum inside your module or inside your online course. So people, instead of asking the question again, they can simply go to that forum and search for previous answers and questions. So it's always a good idea to start your course, whether you have a course and that course is divided into topics. It's a good idea to start every topic or every course to start with a discussion forum. It's basically like an ice-breaking activities, maybe ask general questions about the content of that topic, then see the student responses, and based on that you can plan or you can add and incorporate more learning activities. So each section of, maybe you can start each section with open-ended questions. So at the beginning, maybe you want to teach medical, you want to teach engineering. So you can ask questions. Have you ever wondered how you can maybe build a building of 3 floors? So maybe then you can get the feedback of your student, and based on that, you can plan your learning activities. Again, it's a good practice to end every section or each section with a brainstorming activity, so the student can reflect on what they have learned in the previous section. Now, also, I will not lengthy explain this, but basically, video resources could have different forms. As I mentioned previously, it could be the recording of your actual online classes. It could be an H5P. H5P, for people who are not familiar with, is short for HTML5 package. These are new additions to Moodle. Moodle, I think it came from with the 3.8, 3.9, and now available 3.10. Before that, available like a plugin, but now it's part of Moodle. This provides you the means to create interactive videos and interactive presentation. So you can easily create a video, or maybe even you can use a video from YouTube. Then into that video, you can add interactive elements. So you can basically add quizzes, you can add surveys. So at a certain point of the video will pause and will present your student with a survey, or with a multiple choice questions, or maybe with a write-up. So based on the answer, the student will be navigated or be redirected to a certain time on that video, or maybe they just skip the video altogether, or they need to repeat the video. So based on the student interaction with the video, based on the student performance on the quizzes that embedded in the video will progress. You can do the similar things with presentation using the H5P. There are many tools come with H5P, which is built in now in Moodle, where you can introduce interactivity to your module. You can use external videos from YouTube or for other lectures, TEDx videos if you like, webinars, whatever kind of videos you think it is suitable for your student and related to the modules. And of course, the handouts and articles are essential part of the content, digital content. Just try to have them in a format that is suitable and portable and responsive, like PDFs, which can open easily in any device. Wikis, also Moodle and many other learning platforms provide a means to create wikis, which basically a page when you can write one line or you can ask one question on that page, then student can develop that page and add more content into it, so you can have a growing and ever-growing database of information developed and built by the student. Now, podcasts are really essential and really good way for learning. So, like you are in a hurry or something, or you have a short concept, or you want to highlight a certain aspect of a topic, you can simply use your mobile phone to record a short audio clip, maybe for a few minutes. Try to make the podcast short. Then you can upload that to SoundCloud, or you can have it on your learning management system. And that will be a very, very convenient way for your learners to listen to that podcast at their convenience. Maybe they're exercising, going to grocery, maybe they're driving their cars. In their convenience, they can listen to that podcast without reading, without doing actually something that distracts them. Okay, so they can read and listen to the podcast. Now, quizzes, as all of you know, quizzes are really a great tool for reflecting on your own knowledge. Try to use quizzes in your modules for practicing. So students need practice to enhance their skills. Don't just use it for final assessment. So at the end of each section, you can use quizzes, simple quizzes, and the difficulty of the quiz could progress with the progress of the course. Now, all the previous activities we talked about are asynchronous activities that doesn't have to happen in real time. Now, we're going to talk about the synchronous activities or learning activities which provide a live interaction with the learners. They induce real-time engagement and collaboration while maintaining focus. This is a good thing about the asynchronous activities which maintain focus. Even if people are outside the classroom, sitting in different places, maybe outside the country, you can interact with them real time, and you can even sometimes provide more learning materials, more interactive than the actual classroom. So examples of synchronous learning activities, which is live face-to-face classes, in our case, live face-to-face online classes, live chat, instant collaboration. So you can open certain software, and I'll explain this in the next slide, where you can and your student collaborate on certain projects. live role-playing games, real-time simulators, and live pools. Most of these things, especially live pools, live chat, instant collaboration, also can be provided by the H5P new additions to Moodle. Now, these are some of the famous synchronous tools, and I think you heard about most of them, like Quizzes, Kahoot, Padlet, Minecraft for Education, which is by Microsoft, and Google Keep. So with the Quizzes, it's basically a website provide you with the service of creating online quizzes, fun online quizzes with interactive element, music in the background, some engaging things. So you can see, like you can, by the way, you can for free can create account here and you can share the link inside your learning management system. You have a lot of, so it's as you can see here, they are interactive. You can see animations, you can see the progress bar, you can see the scores that are attended by a student. A student can easily access these kind of quizzes just by scanning. They can use their mobile phone to scan a code on the screen and they immediately will be taken to that quizzes. You can easily see the grade on the screen. It's a fun experience that will engage, challenge, that will induce challenge and motivation and will make people compete between each other, okay? Also, you have Kahoot. Kahoot also similar in concept to quizzes. Also, you can create, also this is for free. You can create engaging online quizzes and you can give marks and icons. It's a bit fun and it's important to include and add fun elements to your teaching. The good thing about Kahoot, you can integrate it with Google Hangout, with Zoom, or with Microsoft Teams. So there you can have a tab inside Teams or Google Hangout where you can integrate and embed Kahoot activities. So during your online quiz, online meeting, you can immediately open a tab and share the Kahoot activities with your student. Okay, it's again free. You can create an account there for free and create the quizzes. And again, you can give prizes, you can give trophies, and all that will engage and increase the engagement with your course. Padlet is, again, a very useful tool. It's like a whiteboard where you can drag element. You can collaborate with your students on certain element. Just think about it's like a whiteboard. There is a custom whiteboard. You can create your own whiteboard. You and your student can add elements to that and work collaboratively with your student in real time. So you can use this like a project planning or mock-up design. So all these kind of things could be done in real time. And also you can sign up for free and there is an app for Windows. Minecraft for Education. If you are not familiar with Minecraft, I'm sure maybe some of you are already familiar with it. It's a virtual world. You can create an entire virtual world. Basically, you can sign up there and you can have an entire world. It's not, I know it's a basic graphics, but it serves the purpose where some institutions, and it's used mainly by schools, but also I read on some universities are using that with their students. They can showcase certain topic, or they can showcase like a career fair or some virtual gathering. That will add some interactivity, will add some fun element where students can go by themselves and create maybe a business, or might create some demonstration for a certain idea. So people are using this around the world to create some kind of visualization and fun learning experience. Finally, there are plenty of other tools, but you have also Google Keep, which provide you a similar experience as Padlet, where you can draw and you can share your screen with other students and work collaboratively on certain projects. So all these are essential tools for engaging the students in a fun way. All of them are available for free. Maybe for some of them you need, if you want more feature, you need to pay, but I think most of them are available for free, completely free. Okay. Now we'll talk about the structure of your online course. We talked about the element that should be part of your course, but how you can structure your course in a way that makes sense, that will be based on the right standards of instructional design. So basically, logical and instructional design courses are far more effective in delivering the course content in an effective way to the student. It will make sense. Basically, you need to design a course that will make sense. Now, these are I have just written in 8 points to just give you an idea how you can design a course in a way that will make sense to your learners when they see it for the first time, without much guidance from you. So again, as I mentioned before, just start your course with a summary. telling your student what they will learn in this course, motivate them to continue the course because they will learn so and so and so. But in general, as I mentioned, after that, you can talk about the objectives. I just tell them at the end of this course, you will be able to design a mobile app. At the end of this course, you will be able to diagnose a certain issue in your PC or your computer. Sorry, most of my examples are based on IT because I'm an IT, like I'm from IT background, but of course you can relate. After that, it's a good, the third section, you can add an assessment. So you can assess the current knowledge of your student. This part is based on your way of leading the course. Basically, some people using an assessment at the top of the course, and if the student pass that assessment, so basically they have the knowledge which are provided in that section of the course, on that topic. So based on your learning style, and of course you need to agree with other lecturers on that, this is some technical academic things, but some lectures might make the student or give the student the opportunity to immediately go to the next chapter or to the next topic because they already passed the first assessment. So they don't need to go to the next part. So as you can see, if the learners have the necessary knowledge and comprehension of the topic content, they can simply proceed to the next chapter. They don't need to go to the course content. However, if they failed that assessment, they can carry on and take the course content. Now, after the pre-assessment, which I talked about, you can have your discussion forum, which I talked in the previous slides, where the student can ask their question, maybe can check other people, feedback, the frequently asked questions, all of them could be there. The lecturers also can use the discussion forum as a mean to deliver information to the student. Remember, your students are online, so you might not be able to see them face-to-face most of the time, might not be able to attend your online classes. So use the discussion forum to convey information and announcement to your student. So they can always refer back to the discussion forum. Most of the discussion forums send email to the student so they can learn what's happening or if there are any quizzes or events are happening. So after the course main discussion forum, you can have your learning materials, which we talked about. You can have the PDFs, videos, whatever your learning materials could come after the discussion forum, okay? Just again, keep in your mind, they should be light, portable, and responsive, so they can easily open it in many devices. And again, for ebooks and articles, it's better to be in PDF format because, as you know, PDF could open or could be displayed on any device without any issues. Now, after you finish the learning materials section, is the time for the post-assessment. For the people who haven't passed the pre-assessment, they can now take the final assessment. And again, the final assessment is a key for your own preference, so you can know the performance of the student, and you can develop the course accordingly. Because if most of the student has passed the post-assessment, that means they have understood the material you provided. If they fail, that means there is some mistake in the course design or in the content. Finally, the last point before the post-assessment is the final summary, which basically you will be telling your learners what they have learned in this topic. You'll summarize everything they have learned, so that will give them a complete, nice structure. That will make sense. Now, as you can see, this chart will just briefly tell you, I will explain to you what are the different stages or sections that could be included in your course, okay? Now, as I just mentioned this previously, you can design your course in a way which you can use the competency-based assessment or the SMART assessment, where when the student pass certain assessment, immediately can pass to a next section, or some hidden content could be revealed when he pass certain quizzes. So your design could be as the following. So it could start with the summary. Then when he reached the pre-assessment or knowledge pre-assessment, if he passed that knowledge pre-assessment, as I mentioned previously, he can simply go to the next chapter. If he failed or he didn't get the required point, he can proceed to the other section, which is the discussion forum, where he can ask his doubts, when you can discuss with him why he failed, then he can get the learning materials, and finally can get the post-assessment to ensure that he learned from his mistakes, he understood the course content, then he can proceed, then he can finally get the briefing, then move on to the next chapter. Now, now we'll talk about the guidance, the type of guidance you need to provide for your student. So basically, we have talked about the structure, the content, the kind of activities that could be included inside your online course. But how the student will know that? How the student will know which is where, what the type of activities? Okay, they might see a list of activities in front of them, but they might not be aware what this is about, what the objectives. So this is your role to explain to them what are the different elements inside your course, what are the different assessments used for, what these resources are used for. So you can use labels, informative descriptions. So basically, whenever you have an activity, I'm talking about Moodle, and you can relate because you are using Moodle. So for every activity, you can add a description. So if you have a quiz, you can simply tell the student you are expected to perform this and that will give you the necessary knowledge to proceed to so and so. Maybe you can give a resource. Instead of just giving the resource by itself, you can add a description below that resource and say, by viewing that video or by reading that ebook, you will understand this and this and that, and you'll be able to proceed to the next chapter. So always use informative description, clear instruction. So if you have a quiz, tell them what they are expected to do in that quiz, what the restriction, if there are any restrictions. Use obvious signs, use even icons. Sometimes you can divide your courses, as I mentioned, to the summary, introduction, assessment. You can use maybe icons to represent the content of that section as well. Now, some examples to the kind of guidance you provide to the student. As example, you can indicate the date and time and the number of quizzes allowed for a certain quiz. You can inform learners what the type or the file format that you are expecting them to submit, what the purpose of each section. Okay, all these examples of guidance you can provide to your student. Now, support. How you can support your student? What are the support channel that you can make it available for your student? Again, support is important for all learners, but it's more important and significantly more important for online learners because simply they don't have direct access to the lectures. They don't have direct access to their academic advisors. So you need to provide certain means so they can easily communicate with you. Now, types of support and types of communication channel that you can integrate and incorporate in your modules are maybe support emails. So a clear support email should be indicated in your online course. Instant chat, instant chat. So they can chat with you, of course, on certain times. Like if you have like your work starts from 9 to 3 or to 4. So during that time, maybe you allocate 2 or 3 hours for instant chatting, because again, you need to provide more flexible means for online learners. You can have a support groups. So maybe using Gmail or even use Moodle or any other mean or even Teams, you can create a group for certain people if they need extra support, and you can provide the link for joining that group inside your module page. So students will click on that link and will be immediately added to that, and you will get notification that this student or that group of students need support. They can also provide a means to request a one-to-one sessions. You can also maybe you can use Google Form or any other means for a student to click on that link. They put their information. Maybe they can select the time where you are free. You can do that through Google Calendar, so they can find your free time, and you can request an online maybe video conference with you, so you can support them on certain matters. Feedback. Now, feedback is important to develop any system. So you need to get the feedback of the student. You need always to keep insight on what's happening inside your system. So it's a vital element, as mentioned here, to improve your entire learning experience. So you can use surveys. So you can survey learners about their learning experience. You can ask for suggestions and improvement, because always the learner, in this case, the student, so always maybe have certain views, maybe is experiencing certain difficulties. So maybe you need to think and you put yourself in the student's shoe to understand what's happening. So when you design a survey, of course, there are many ways to do that. The simplest way, you can use Google Forms. You can simply create a form and share. There are other many tools, online tools, free tools to create surveys. So in your survey, when you send it to the student, make it concise, make it direct, and easy for them to fill. So you can simply focus on certain element like accessibility, level of engagement. So you can ask them, is this course accessible for you? Can you easily access the material there? Is it available offline? Can you download the content? By the way, with the Moodle 3.10 or 3.9, there is an option for the student and for the lecturers as well to download the course content entirely offline. So they can, whenever they have internet in their mobile phone or in their tablet, there is an option inside your module where they can download the entire course material, so it could be available for them offline. You can ask them over the level of engagement, or you can measure the level of engagement. So if you have a discussion forum, you have a quiz for practice, not final assessment quiz, you can check how many people actually attended that quiz, how many people actually viewed a certain resource. All these are valuable indicators for yourself to know the student feedback. You can ask them about the difficulty levels. Are the material difficult? Are the quizzes are difficult? Of course, in this case, you're going to use two input. You're going to use, or you're going to observe their performance, the student performance in the course, but also the verbal or the written feedback by the student also valuable. So all these dimensions will direct future development and enhancement for your own course. Now, the final phase for any system in the world is analyzing what you have done, and then you can build the future development accordingly. So to know the effectiveness of your course or to plan future development, you need to measure different indicators, different aspects of your course. Now, there are certain examples where you can test the performance, where you can test the effectiveness of your course. Basically, the most obvious one is the performance in quizzes. So of course, you're going to provide quizzes to your student, whether it's practice quizzes or the final assessment, okay, or midterm assessment. And based on that, you can measure their performance. But as you know, as academic, you know, cannot be the only indicator, because some even smart student could have some conditions, some circumstances, and maybe they cannot perform well in the quizzes. So you can take other factors, the equation, the participation in discussions. Are they participating? Are they asking questions? Are they actively engaging with other students? Because don't forget, with the online meetings, you are not always, the student not always able to join your classes. Sometimes they have certain conditions. Sometimes they are in places where there is no internet. So all these are contributing factors that they cannot simply attend maybe even a quiz or be in a live session. So participation in discussion, which is asynchronous learning, so basically they can attend it anytime, is a good indicator. Course material view rate. How often a certain resource is viewed. Maybe a certain resource is not viewed often. Maybe it's not important. Maybe you have already provided another resource which is far more important. Always think of adding videos, short videos, rather than lengthy documents. So instead of adding a PDF, maybe 10-page PDF, maybe try to add a video 5 minutes for 5 minutes. So for a student, even for you as a lecturer, watching a video for 5 minutes, it's much better, it's much easier and much streamlined than reading a 10-page PDF. Now, also class attendance rate, which is not a great factor, but also a good contributing factor, because as I mentioned, sometimes there's some technical issues. But also, with a high class attendance rate, by the way, there's a mistake for class, I know that. But anyway, for the class attendance rate, you can also measure the quality of your structure. A lot of people interested to attend the classes. And if not, what the alternative? So if you notice that there's a low rate of attending your classes, maybe you can provide the recording, and definitely you are providing the recording of your classes. Maybe you provide, you create an H5P short videos of your classes. So instead, maybe your video recording for the class is 1 hour. So maybe you can shorten that video for maybe 20 minutes using the H5P, okay? Maybe add some interaction, and that will make it faster. By the way, with H5P, you can use the same recording of your video, which is 1 hour, and at the beginning of the video, you can add some, they call it road sign, or some labels. So each label could represent a specific time on the video. And you know, in that time, you are explaining certain topic. So maybe in the minute 15, okay, you're talking about certain topic. So at the beginning of the video, you say, if you want to read about or to understand that topic, click on this label. So that label will immediately forward the student to that specific section. So you can use it in that way as well. The progression level, our students are passing the exams, are passing the assessment you are giving them, and also the learner's feedback. When you provide them with a survey, what the kind of survey and the feedback they get back to you. All these are essential elements to build better course and to develop online courses for the future reference, okay? To have really a dynamic and robust online course that virtually responds to the arising challenges and changes in the world. So as a conclusion, we almost reached the end of the presentation. So as a conclusion, you need to incorporate all these different aspects. So to develop a sustainable and flexible online learning experience, you need to consider motivation, learning and objectives. And again, the course structure and smart assessment. Smart assessment, when I mentioned you, when students pass certain assessment, they can go to certain section of the course. So learners' feedback and other measurement indicators, as I mentioned previously, are essential for any future development and enhancement plans. So all of that together could provide you with the means, and with the tools I have mentioned previously, to synchronous and asynchronous tools, could provide you with a complete environment, a streamlined environment to facilitate learning outside the physical boundaries of your office or the campus. So I appreciate your listening to me all this time, and I hope it was easy and easy to follow presentation. So thank you very much. Do you have any questions or notes, observations?
Thank you, Mohammed. I've asked the staff to post the questions in the chat box.
Yes.
So
Yes, I'm monitoring the chat box, yes.
Yeah. So we'll just wait for the questions.
Absolutely. By the way, I will just send you a PDF. I will send in chat a PDF of the entire presentation for your reference. Yes, I'm now uploading the entire PDF of the presentation, so that could be as a reference for your colleagues. You're most welcome, Ms. Walda.
There's a question from Ms. Divya, Dr. Divya
Yes.
from Al Musanna College.
Yes. If I understand your question, which is what is the level of achievement of online teaching in replacing the existing teaching and learning pedagogy? From our experience, till now, if I understood your question correctly, till now, online teaching didn't replace the face-to-face teaching at all. It is like delivering or at least sustaining the learning experience till now in a good rate. So providing learning experience, providing continuing the learning at least, and providing good tools and good means to achieve that. But again, just think about it. Since the dawn of history, we are used to the face-to-face teaching and learning. So it's hard a little bit to completely swipe to the completely online teaching. However, if you think about the entire online experience, it provides you with the good tools that wasn't available before. So forget the pandemic, forget the current COVID situation. Now, the interactive tools, the way when you make the learning resources available at any time, where a student can access the learning materials anytime, it's a great thing, regardless of pandemic or not. So that give you good platform for learning. And even if pandemic finished, even if we go back to the normal, I think it's useful to continue still using this kind of technique. Just imagine make everything available for the student, even if there was face-to-face classes. Maybe tomorrow there's heavy rain. People couldn't come to the college. You can immediately start an online class with them. So regardless what, you can still continue using the online teaching practices. However, till now, yes, there are some difficulties. As I mentioned, maybe internet connectivity, people doesn't have the required devices, people are not used yet to the technology, but people are learning, people are developing themselves. So in the past, especially 1 year, maybe 1.5 years, it's a huge development happened in the e-learning and the online practices. Or e-learning was there before, But when people have to use it, sorry, they invented a lot of things. They learned a lot of things, and that overall enhanced their overall learning experience. Any other questions?
Staff can unmute themselves if they want now. Maybe just raise your hand and unmute so that we can have one after another and you can
Yes.
ask the questions.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, this is Dr. Rachappa speaking.
Hello, doctor.
Yeah. Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Thank you for your presentation, and you mentioned a lot
So,
of tools also, which are very helpful for our students also. You mentioned about the quizzes, Kahoot, and all. What is the capacity of these tools? For how many people it can
yes.
accommodate? That is one thing. Second thing is, what about the confidentiality, the security? When we post any quiz or any questions with these, so how about the security?
Yes. First, talking about the capacity, but sorry, if you don't mind, Mr. Fahim, I think Dr. Fahim asked a questions. So I just asked me before in the direct message. So I'll just reply to that. Here's the question, if you don't mind. Then I'll get back to your question. Is that okay?
Yeah, fine.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Mr. Fahim Ahmed, he asked about the pre-assessment knowledge testing. So he said if some student failed and some passed, then how we can manage the whole class? Should instructor go back to the previous chapter or go to the next chapter? Thank you for your questions, and to be honest, that come to my mind. As I mentioned, it depends on your course design. So basically, you can use this technique a topic-wise or like a section-wise or a chapter-wise. So with the topic-wise, again, you need to take the decision on that. But basically, imagine this week, if you applied for a week-wise, this week you have some certain learning materials you want to provide. So at the beginning of the week, let's say Sunday, you provided a pre-assessment test. So student passed that assessment. Okay, so again, it's up to you whether you adopt to that method or not. But if they passed it, they can simply wait to the next week things. Of course, within that week, they can just read more materials. They can maybe do some practices for the final assessment, but they don't have to attend your classes. They don't have to read the materials. I mean, it's not necessary because basically they already proven to you they have the necessary knowledge. For other students who haven't passed, they can continue with the normal flow, and then maybe at the Thursday, you can test them. If they pass, they can move to the next chapter. So this is the concept. I know it might be difficult, or not difficult, might be complicated from the academic side, because I know there is assessment, there is a quality assurance, there are assessment packs, so all that should be planned accordingly. But you can do this on a micro level. So you can manage it in case topic by topic. If the student passed the assessment, they can just wait maybe for 3-4 days. And anyway, maybe they don't, in the 3-4 days, maybe we don't have a class with them. But instead of telling them go and read the materials, they already showed you, they already have the knowledge, so they don't request them to read these materials. Now, this is how it could be done and how it is being already done by some institutions. Now, going back to the question about the capacity, about QuizUp and these tools, it's different from site to site and from service to service, but I think most of them support unlimited number. And I think at least they start at 300 or 250, then above. Okay, I can check that, and also I think if you go to the website, which I mentioned in the links, I already shared the presentation, so you can find the slides there. The links for these services. I think for every site, they mentioned the number of attendees who can attend in real time. Regarding the security and the privacy, these are not for QuizUp, Kahoot, they are not private. Of course, you will have a password and username, and you can create your quizzes there. But anybody can join your class can join the online assessment by just clicking a link. If you're a student, share the link with someone else. If you're a student, share the code with someone else. They can easily join your classes or join that interactive activity. So the best thing, you use these kind of things for practice. Don't use it for final assessment. Final assessment, you know, of course, different methods and ways to have a secure final assessment environment. But these like QuizUp, Cohort, Padlet, all these tools are for practice, for engagement, for enhancing the knowledge. But as a security things, of course, they provide you with the password and all these kind of things, but could be easily accessed by other people. Thank you very much.
Okay, the head of the department IT, Dr. Naziba Said Hamid, the presenter Mr. Muhammad Yasin, and all the participants, a very warm good afternoon all of you. I hope you have enjoyed the informative session on the best practice for remote learning organized by Department of IT, University of Technology and Applied Sciences Al Musanna. It is my honor and privilege now to give a vote of thanks to all those who helped to make this presentation happen. First of all, I would like to thank the presenter, Mr. Muhammad Yasin, for giving excellent coverage on the topic best practice for remote learning. I also would like to thank the participants for giving their valuable time to us. I would like to thank Dr. Lenin and Ms. Shahana Roshan for putting their effort to make this presentation happen. Thank you everyone for taking the time to be here today. Have a great day. Please give your valuable feedback, dear participants. Please give your valuable feedback just shared with all of you in the comment box. So use that one link and please give your valuable feedback. So thank you again. Thank you all of you. Have a great day.
Thank you
Sir, I have a question, if you don't mind. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so this is with regard to the HTML5 that you mentioned.
Yes.
And first of all, let me thank you for that. This is one of the very interesting and very informative session. It was a kind of reorientation for all our teachers here. And this particular HTML5, which you mentioned, I would like to know how to make this interactive. Do you have any links or do you have a further presentation on this? Then please share with us.
Yes, absolutely. There are many like links on YouTube. I'm also preparing some presentation. Might cover more aspect about the H5P. I can share it with you. Maybe I can share it with Ms. Sahana, and then she can share it with you all. And yes, absolutely, because as you mentioned, H5P is very important like tool which integrated on Moodle, which provide you with a lot of interactivity.
Yeah. The thing is how to get started. This is actually the problem. So
no issue. If you like, maybe we can plan another session, on some date, and kind of make this more practical session where we can actually start like a Moodle page where we can actually create that in front of you.
Sure. Thank you so much. And would you mind sharing your slides?
Absolutely. I already did that. Yes, I already did that.
Actually, you sent it in the chat box, but my interface doesn't have this chat box. So would you mind sharing it on Outlook, please?
Absolutely. Maybe Miss Sahana, she already have it, or I will send it to you. No problem.
Yeah,
If she,
I'll do
Thank
that.
you again. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Yes, Ms. Shahana, this is the same problem with us. Our chat boxes are inactive. So, would you like?
I'll, if you could just send me, if you could just let me know who it is, I'll just forward it to you. All right?
Yeah, my name is Humaira.
I will send the whole list of. Thank you. I'll send it to the whole list. I'll email it to the whole list.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Mr. Yasin, for such an informative presentation.
You are most welcome. Always, you are most welcome.
I think we should conclude the
if there are no any more questions, concluding the session. Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Thank you so much for finding time for us.
You are most welcome. You are most welcome. Have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.